Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, or in this case tonight, I'm going to be covering part 2 of the story I was covering earlier, all about the guy who's 56 years old now, and sharing his life story about how he made tons of reckless, crazy mistakes when he was young, got in a lot of trouble, but eventually turns his life around on multiple fronts, and has the last laugh. And where it left up, our guy definitely got in a big trouble, a big motorcycle accident, got busted and was doing time for selling illegal substances, and then decided then he's going to turn around his life. And his parents started a business, and he started working for them. And now you're going to hear the part where, thank the Lord, he turns it around, but definitely goes through struggles as life, how life is. So he continues on, he says here, and he labeled this story, Wasted Years, a Blueprint of What Not to Do. Next up, he says, as promised, HOE bag number 3, in his life between age 25 and 56. 31 years in his life, one way or another, his ex. Let us call her, just for SSM, Jessica. She was one of my gals from earlier in life. We reconnected while I was on house arrest. She came over and let me have fun. I was working hard at my parents' business, putting in 10 to 12-hour days. My parents were pleased with the effort I was putting in and how quickly I picked things up. Good for you, dude. I also had experienced glazing from the glass and mirror place I was working at previously. I brought with me the ability to insulate art glass, which was previously outsourced, and jacked costs down significantly. This allowed us to do cheaper work than other door companies and increased our profits. I did it after my normal work day was over and got paid for each panel under the table, and that worked for me. Extra money for me kept me busy for hours every evening, thereby limiting the amount of time for idle hands, in other words, getting into trouble. Jessica would come over to me and Sean's house pretty regularly. Sean is his best friend for life, who he did not hook up with any of his girls ever after that, and they bought a house together. So eventually it came out that Jessica was living with another guy, and he was, wait for it, abusive. Of course, being blue-pilled back then, I believed her, and I now know that she was monkey branching to me. Like you always say, it's no different regardless of what year it is. This was in the 1990s, the same thing, a different year. Yeah, human nature is human nature. It doesn't make a difference where you are in the world. Right now, hearing the story, women are the same, men are the same. Or about events that happened decades ago. We're no different now than we were back during Roman times or whatever. Same thing always, guys. Eventually, she did leave him and got her own place. Again, I never asked her to be my girlfriend. It just became understood. She sunk her claws deep into me, seeing that I was going somewhere in life. At this time, I was working on getting my driver's license back, but couldn't drive quite yet. This master manipulator drove me to work and picked me up after work every day. What a great woman, right? She weaseled her way into my life endlessly and started sleeping over frequently. Yep, smack for letting that happen. Yeah, smack. If she was one of your girls that you describe as one of your 304s back in the day, that ain't girlfriend material. That's for hookups, nothing more. And frankly, when you're turning your life around like this, you want to be involved with people like that. Think about it. But you were young and dumb, and in some ways, you were the bad boy type in your motorcycle party supply selling days, but you were also very clueless about gals as well. Eventually, my house arrest ended, and I was able to drive again. I started going out socially. I was promoted to installer after I trained my replacement in the warehouse. I installed doors for a couple of years, and then was promoted to sales while also overseeing the warehouse. That's great, man. Now, you did have a major benefit that you were hired at your parents' company, because after having a record and doing some time, it would have been a lot harder for you if you were trying to get a job someplace else. So you got really freaking lucky in that situation, but I'm glad you took advantage of it. And I'm guessing, I was a little confused about the house arrest thing. I guess you're on house arrest, but you were allowed to go to work, and that's it, nothing more, I'm assuming. Jessica, being the perfect girlfriend the entire time, sunk her claws into my mom and dad as well. Sean and I went out regularly after I got out house arrest, and just the two of us, and just a group of guys during this time. And Jessica would complain. Shocker. I don't remember exactly how it went down. She lied about something trying to manipulate problems between me and Sean, got caught, called out, and I broke up with her. Good. Big surprise. She didn't like you going out with him and hanging out with buddies, probably thinking you might meet other girls while you're out, because that's how you used to be, and replace her. So she's going to cause problems with your number one wingman. Imagine that. And you broke up with her. Good. The problem is, dumbass you took her back. Now I believe she was 25 at the time and I was 26. And she was looking to settle down. She freaked out, absolutely lost her mind. Shaw and I threw her out of the house and locked the door. Still going nuts, she disappeared around the side of the house, jumped over the fence, headed for the back door, which was open. Climbing over the fence, huh? Yeah, she's nuts. Shaw and I were like, holy crap, raced to the back door, just barely beating her and locking the door. She started beating on the door, screaming for me to take her back and to talk to her. I told her to leave or we were calling the police. That should have been the biggest sign ever. Do not get back with this girl, she's nuts. Nope. I'll tell you what, I wish the story ended here, but alas, it does not. Blue pill moron that I was, took her back a couple weeks later. Smack, smack, smack. I don't know, there's a part of me that says, are you still on the frickin' drugs? At least you got your kids out of her, because, oh yeah, spoiler, he marries this broad. Yeah, smack, preemptive smack. I know, smack. So life went on working, playing, and increasing my income. At this point, I was doing well, getting a salary for overseeing the warehouse and a commission for my sales. At 27 years old, I was making roughly 60 grand a year, and that was back in the late 1990s. That's pretty good money for 27 years old in the late 1990s. 60 grand a year, that took you pretty far then. I had plenty of money, a nice car, a nice motorcycle. Yep, I bought another bike, although I'd never drink and drive ever again, and I had money in the bank. Get your smacking hand ready. I moved in with Jessica at this point. Smack, smack, smack. Dude, really? As if you didn't have enough problems in your life? I think you're just so used to having girlfriends with drama and turmoil you didn't know anything else. Life was good, all my legal woes behind me, happy, really proud of myself and how I turned my life around. Yeah, you did turn your life around, which is awesome. Except you brought that a-hole into your life. Then I got stupid, really stupid. At 28, Jessica and I were laying on the couch watching something, and as women do, she started dropping hints about marriage. Guess the biological clock was ticking. I thought about it mostly because she'd been a good girlfriend, and of course, that's what we've been all programmed to do, right? And I said to her, okay, so do you wanna? That was my proposal. Of course, the little harpy said yes. Looking back, I can't help but think of the movie Ice Age when the dodo were chanting, doom on you, over and over again. That means nothing to me because I never saw Ice Age. I know a lot of people see that movie. I never saw it. But I'll take your word for it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Her mom was a raging effeminist. What a cunt she was. I could not stand her. Smack! You don't think that's going to rub off on Jessica? That's going to be your mother-in-law? That's going to be the grandma of your children? Really? This is why I tell you, say pay attention to your girl's family. But you didn't know. Did she have blue hair? Did she have freaking nose piercing? I bet she loved Bill Clinton back then. Sarcasm. Here we are, my third greatest regret. The day of the wedding. While driving to the place we get married, I was at a four-way stop sign, intersection, go left and get married, or go straight and right off into the sunset. I sat at that stop sign for a long, long time until a car pulled up behind me and honked. I slowly turned left. The wedding was nice, although her a-hole mom refused to have alcohol at the reception. Right, WTF. Who doesn't have alcohol at a wedding? I don't know, people of certain religions, but yes. It's your freaking wedding. You bet your ass. You had the money to finance some things. No. You're not getting married, Jessica's mom. This is our wedding. We're going to have booze there, for God's sakes. When all those young folks hung out at the bar for most of the night, her mom got pissed. Having a buzz, I said to her, what the fuck do you think was going to happen, moron? That did not go well, but I didn't care. I turned away and headed back to the bar to hang out with my new wife, friends, and most of the younger guests. So, I guess you brought alcohol anyway or something. Maybe it was BYOB, I don't know. We ended up having a pretty good time, my mom and dad eventually joining us as well. We went to Key West for our honeymoon, and that was fun, drank quite a bit, and F like bunnies. What else is there to do in Key West but drink and F like bunnies? No different now. Oh yeah, I should make mention of this. Jessica told me she had a tilted uterus and something, basically she couldn't have kids. Oh, how nice of her to mention that after you got married. Well, 3 children later, yeah, it must have been a miracle. Women are such liars, I never believe a woman anymore without proof. It says, SSM, I'm going to streamline this a bit, hitting on the major moments because I really want to get this to you. For the next part of the next 7 to 8 years, we were good to okay. Not great, but good to okay. But it got worse after that. Everything you educate men on regarding how marriage destroys a relationship is dead on. The quickest way to ruin a relationship, guys, is to get married. Remember, guys, when you're not married, they know it's a lot easier for you to walk if BS starts. You know, people are going to be on their better behavior under freaking start. But you get married, that gives certainty. They know the law, the family courts are on their side. It's the fucking truth. After the first 2 children, both girls, sex pretty much evaporated. I got angry and left her. Not divorced her because I wasn't losing half my money. I got an apartment a block from the beach and started having fun again. Saw my kids every weekend. Life was tolerable. Imagine that. After you had a couple kids, the sex stopped. All that. Amazing. Amazing how that works. She thought you weren't going anywhere. Well, she was wrong. Interesting strategy. You weren't going to lose half your stuff, so you said, we're just going to separate, and you had fun. Frankly, I think you should have divorced her, and you could have found a way to survive, but if it was that bad, it is what it is. Well, Jessica and I were on again, off again for 4 to 5 years. Smack! Watch what happens. Supposedly got her pregnant again, got a son. Maybe I'm the father, maybe not. I don't care, no matter what, he's mine. He's your boy, and as far as you're concerned, okay, that's your business. Now, sadly, during this time, just before my son was to be born, the recession hit. So you're talking about 2008, not your garden variety recession. That was like borderline a mini depression, depending on who you're talking to. Business went down the drain, my parents lost everything, and my father took his own life. Shit, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. I was devastated, tearing up as I write this. I got drunker than I'd ever been in my life, and I lost my shit. To Jessica's credit, she did take care of me during this period. But once I processed my grief, I didn't need and want her around anymore. She was a staying manipulative, self-serving bitch. I really do miss my dad. My brother bailed, took off to Arizona. He couldn't handle it. So I was on my own to take care of my basket case of a mom, and she was quite a handful, understandably. And she and I reorganized the business, kept it small, just me, my mom, and one installer. Well, it was a door business. And during recessions, or really bad recessions, the last thing people are going to spend money on is replacing doors unless they absolutely have to, especially businesses. We got by with crumbs of commercial work, didn't sell a residential door for 5 years, what I just say. We worked out of our homes, using our garages to store product. Those were tough times, lots of sleepless nights, getting by on scraps. Jessica also put me on child support at this time because we've been separated for so long. I'd been giving her money for the kids, but it wasn't enough. It's never enough. I'm guessing you didn't have it documented or a court order for that amount of money for the child support, so, they didn't record that. And by the way, notice what he said, that he was working out of his home, storing product in the garages, anything to survive, to minimize costs. That's good for you, man. You stood by your mom, took care of her, did what you had to do to survive. He said, guys, don't do this, by the way. It doesn't count as child support. They deem it a gift. So I can hit my $12,000 in back child support on top of the child support. Fucking harpy. I said, what happens when you marry someone like this? I had to get a second job at night and move in with my mom just so I could eat. I worked 7 in the morning to 2 a.m. Monday through Friday and 7 p.m. to 2 on Saturday and Sunday. That was fun. Because I was always working, I rarely got to see my kids. I was in a very dark place during those years, but I had to keep plugging away. You did what you had to do as a man to survive, and you were also taking care of your mom. I commend that, bro. Especially how you were as a kid and everything like that. That says a lot with your turnaround. He says, never give up, guys. As men, we just have to keep fighting. Hey, freaking men, brother. Also, during this time, my body started to betray me. Motorcycle accident coming back to haunt me. Arthritis and various aches and pains were getting worse and worse every year. Take care of your bodies, guys. Trust me. Eventually, my brother came back from Arizona, and we got a house together. Oh, that was very nice of him to come back. Christ, bailed on you when you needed him the most. Way better than staying with my mom. The economy got better and business picked up to the point that we didn't have to work 2 jobs anymore. It wasn't great. We were making around $350 to $400K annually. Before the recession, it was $1.6 million a year. All the glory days. By the way, he does not mean that they were making 350 to 400 grand in profit. He meant sales. The profit was a cut of that. Just to make that clear. Back then, if he was making 350 to 400 a year in profits, he'd be like, okay, dude, you should be okay. But that was not the case. He says, Hobag 2, Chapter 2. He says, yes, that's right, SSM, smack away. Now, I will say this. She is a very different person than she was in high school. What could you mean, sir? That being said, there were some concerns early on. Jessica was livid that I was with her again and called me a cheater. Oh, the delusion. What could you mean, brother? Well, if you remember from the first video, the HOE bag number 2 was Sabrina. Sabrina was the girl who he beat up that guy that would put the moves on her at McDonald's. And eventually, after endless amount of times of her chasing him, telling him that she loves him, he eventually tells her he loves her. And guess what? She cheated on him with some douchebag in a van. That's Sabrina. He's getting back with an ex who cheated on him. Yeah, smack. Once a cheater, always a cheater. You don't go back to the past. Now, sometimes in a rare instance, some people grow up and change. It's not impossible. But frankly, I wouldn't go down there. But what happens, happens, and I'll let you all hear this. It is interesting. He says it's real. All three of us, Sabrina, Jessica, and I went to the same high school together, so Jessica knew our history. I ended up moving in with her. Smack! Dude, you're crazy. You need more fucking drama? We've been together now for close to 9 years. It's been pretty good. A couple speed bumps on the way, but nothing like other women. I tell her I'd never marry her right from the jump. Well, I'm glad to hear for the 9 years you've been with her, it's been going really good. Great. And I'm glad you were smart enough never to get married. 7 years ago, my son came to live with us. Sabrina has a big house with lots of room. Because of this, I no longer had to pay child support. My oldest was 20 years old, so we each had a kid under 18, which nullified child support. Sabrina and my son have become very close. He now sees her as more of a mother than Jessica. Sabrina has been and is very, very good to my son. Well, that's great to hear. And I will commend when it's warranted. And that's great that she's great to your son. I come to find out that Harpy, Jessica, have been poisoning my children against me the entire time. Yet another shocker. After living with us for a while, my son said that he saw all his mother's lies about me. Imagine that, nothing like a spiteful wife. And again, Jessica is one of your HOEs from the past. But then again, we can say Sabrina was one of yours from the past too. But at least what happened with Sabrina was in high school. Well, what happened with Jessica was obviously when she was in her 20s. You know, some people, I cheated one time in my life, guys. I've mentioned this before, and I've never cheated ever since. I was 16 years old, and I had a girlfriend, and it was with her best friend. I mean, you talk about I was a scumbag, but I told you I was kind of a bad boy a-hole then. I knew I was going to get some nookie with a friend because I wasn't getting it with the girlfriend. I could have just broken up with her and gone out with the other girl, but I did it with her friend, and it was terrible, and I felt horrible afterwards. And believe me, karma bit me in the butt, and I never cheated again. So on a rare circumstance, some people actually learn their shit, and I was 16 then. So maybe, just maybe, Sabrina, being young, learned something. I hope so. You know, but Jessica's actions, who she was when she was an adult, and in her late teens and 20s. So we can hope. But yes, you just learned something about me if you're new, guys. I did cheat one time in my life. Felt horrible. I was 16. And oh, karma bit me, guys. You ho ho ho. Never do that again. Anyway. Well, sadly, my daughters are still poisoned against me. I talk to them, but it feels forced. Sabrina is good to me as well. She doesn't nag me. She gives me plenty of space when I want it, and we get along very well. Stranger things, right. Well, I'd like to know if your relationship would be so good with Sabrina if you married her. Because she knows you can leave at any time. And that's the key thing. They never have 100% certainty when you can bail at any time. And hopefully she's changed a bit. I mean, I never cheated again. But no matter what, a woman's a woman. They're going to pull bullshit from time to time. That's what happens. My middle child did turn 18, my son, so I did get some child support from the Harpy. Enjoy the little things. My son is now 18 and doing his own thing. He still lives with us, which I like, but he has to share in paying the bills. That's called responsibility. I have no problem with that. As I communicated to you, SSM, I have R-pilled him as well as his two buddies who are being victimized by the gals. They both thank me for opening their eyes. My son is a savage to the gals. I like that. There's a lot I left out, but I touched on all the major events in my tumultuous life. Well, I'm glad you're teaching your son these things, and he should watch these videos. I'm sure he's going to watch this video and the other video and laugh his ass off when I smack you, and I'll smack you again for all your dumbass shit. Welcome, son and his buddies, and learn from your old man. Hopefully I can help some young men avoid the pitfalls I stumbled into. So I'll keep plugging away and watching every day. I do check Sabrina from time to time when I have to, but it's far and few between. Of course you have to check her from time to time because women are going to be a pain in the ass. And the second they sense perceived weakness, they're going to test and see what they can get away with. The same way children get away with it. My 4% women watching this are like, ha ha ha. Yeah, you know it. He says also, almost forgot, Jessica is alone and miserable. Shocker. There is justice in the world every once in a while. Well, that's all SSM. Wish you the best. Keep plugging away. Well, we're not done yet. He then wanted to add some more information about things that are going on in his life that he didn't mention initially when he wrote this, so I'm going to read it real quick for him. He says, as a side note, SSM, I live well below my means. Sabrina's house is paid for and homesteaded. Taxes are very reasonable for a house this size. My part of the total monthly bills, including my car payment, are around $1,500 monthly, soon to drop significantly as I only have 3 more payments left in my vehicle. Well, that's great, man. I only drive locally for quick errands and to do measures for estimating. I work from home, so no commuting every day. My vehicle is a 2022 and has a whopping 13,700 miles on it. I plan on keeping it for a few more years with no payments, probably sell it when it's around 25,000 miles. Well, why not keep it for longer as opposed to get a new freaking loan? Then I'll use that money to buy what will probably be the last vehicle I purchase with minimal payments and a short-term loan. Should get a great rate with my beautiful credit rating now. I don't pay for gas or cell phone as they're paid for by the company. One of the perks of having ownership of a business. I was reading back through part 2 and realized I may have trimmed it down too much. I didn't really give enough info on my life situation now. Me, my brother and mother, and 2 installers run the company to this day, although my mom doesn't do much. She's 85. My brother and I do pretty much everything except install. Our mom processes payments and opens files for new jobs. That's about it. She works very part-time. That's good. Gives her something to do. But if she's doing anything with paperwork and accounting, make sure, double check that. My brother and I think it's good for her to keep exercising her brain. Helps her stay sharp. We're doing pretty good business now, between $700,000 to $750,000 annually, which is plenty to keep us all comfortable. I, of course, realize now that going back to a cheater is a major fuck-up. I've only been RP for roughly a year and a half. In other words, he's talking about Sabrina. Well, I'm going to hope that since it happened in high school, like I was in high school, and she was a teenager then in high school stage in her life, that she learned her lesson. I'm going to hope, because it happened to me, it can happen to her. And I'm hoping for you. That means it's not going to pull bullshit, and you always keep your eyes open for the red flags, brother. All the things I tell you. Open phone policy, knows girl nights, girl weekends, and if you don't ever get married, and you're always prepared to walk if bullshit happens, or bullshit gets too far. The 9 years I've been with Sabrina have been good. There was some minor female BS in the beginning. Shocker there, testing your boundaries, of course. Way more good, though. I shut down the minor BS very quickly. Since my awakening, I won't tolerate crying. I told her it irritates me when women cry. I'm not going to be manipulated by her tears. I can't remember the last time she cried in front of me. See? Which goes to show you they can control it. Guys, when women cry, they can turn it on and off like that. And the only time it's genuine tears, if like their pet is sick and dying or died, those are real tears. If someone they care about, like their dad or their mom or their sister, and they're crying, those are real tears. But if you come home from work or wherever, the gym, or out with your bros, and she's there when you walk in the room and she's crying, I have something to tell you. You're gonna be mad. That's fake fucking tears. She's about to drop a bombshell on you. Don't fall for it. I've seen little girls do this crap to teenagers, just like boom, like that in the waterworks, and turn off as quickly as they started it. Sabrina is sweet and caring to me. She does many nice things for me. A biggie, she helped me rebuild my credit after the harpy destroyed it by loaning me $22,000. My credit score was around 585 after the harpy got done with it. Whew. I didn't let Jessica destroy it, as she did shit behind my back. My credit score is now 829. Bravo. That's great, man. That's awesome. Guys, if you got low credit scores out there, you can turn it around, but there are things you got to do. And this is why you don't let somebody else in your credit or have cosign or have somebody have a joint credit card because they can fuck it all up. You need good credit if you're going to get loans for things like buying a car, buying a house, or to rent an apartment. People are going to check your credit score. I got a buddy whose family's in the real estate business, and he has the final say of what apartments get rented to who. And he says if their credit is crap, he ain't going to rent to them. They could give him a whole year in cash. Nope, not going to do it unless, because the credit score says everything. Sabrina cooks for me, cleans, gets me groceries, bought me a PlayStation 5, as well as many other nice gifts over the years. Our house is peaceful, and I look forward to coming home. We only go out socially together, run errands together. We do not go to bars, or if we do, it's on occasion, and we do go out to eat, but not often, because neither one of us likes wasting money on eating out. Well, it certainly sounds like she's trying to make up for the high school cheating fiasco, but you always keep your eyes peeled. We will go over to Sean's house to hang out and Sean comes to our house. Sean and I live 7 blocks away from one another. Sabrina and I are very much homebodies. We like chilling at home. My son does his thing, and I enjoy interacting with him and his bros. His friends are always welcome here. I also told him don't ever bring any garden tools here, or I will throw them out on their ass. He laughs and tells me I won't. Well, if your son eventually meets actually a decent gal, like one of my 4%ers, don't be so quick to throw her out, but they're all on a case-by-case basis. And I know you're not going to be fooled. My son told me he does want kids, but will never get married. Also said he absolutely does not want a daughter. Well, he may want kids and may not want to get married, but may not necessarily work out that way. We both love NFL football and constantly rag on each other's teams. Lots of fun. We play pranks on one another, too. Even though we joke around, he understands when I lay down the law, that is it. All in all, we have a very peaceful home life. I really appreciate Sabrina for that. Well, that's great, man. And if she's being good to you, you be good to her. But, there's a difference between good to her and putting her on the pedestal. And you ain't going to put her on the pedestal. And that's cool. You have a good relationship with your son, But he also knows, but your son eventually will be becoming his own man, Maybe one day he'll start working for your company and take it over. Or he'll have his own path in life, But that's cool. It says, oh, yeah, on the they always come back thing. About 2 months ago, before my son turned 18, Jessica sent me a text message stating that she loves me so much. I never responded, and as soon as my son turned 18, I blocked her and haven't spoken to her since and never will. They always come back, guys, right there. Jessica turned his 2 daughters against him, tried turning the son against him, all the BS that she was doing, and now because she has nobody in her life and she's lonely and probably broke, now she's coming back and loves him. My son will no longer speak to her either because she only called him when she wanted something. He's sick of her BS. That makes 2 of us. I think that it should fill in some holes. Take it easy, SSM, and keep fighting the good fight. Brother, that's a great story. Man, you did a lot of crazy stuff back when you were young. It's amazing you're alive. After that accident, holy crap, in jail. But I'm glad you finally grew the hell up. You owe that to your parents and to yourself. And thank God your parents started a business because it could have been very challenging you getting a job after doing freaking jail time and having a record. But it is what it is, and I'm glad. And I'm really impressed about when things got really hard after the recession, the very, very bad recession. Many of you guys remember that. And I'm sorry about your dad, but you did everything you could to take care of the business, your mom. That's cool. That says what a man is. And those weren't fun years. I remember them too. But you did what you had to do to survive, and you turned things around. And yeah, you should have married Jessica, but at least you got your kids out of it. And we can certainly hope they're yours. But I know you'll love your boy no matter what. Hopefully one day your daughters will grow the hell up and you'll have a relationship with them. But they're now adults. And so obviously you've been probably trying with them, but there's a point they need to make the effort too. But we'll see there. But I'm glad your life is going well. Keep on keeping on. And down the road, there's more updates. Let me know. So hopefully this story really resonates with some people. And if you're young and you made mistakes, you can turn things around. Just give it time. And of course, guys, another lesson I was talking about, they always come back. 56 years old, his ex, she wants to come back. Nope, not happening. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. If you like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.